Hello, everyone. You are the heroes here. You made it so far. Um, so, thank you very much, Miteko, for having us another year. It's super, super nice here. I love the environment. So, regarding us, we are a company located in Bavaria and some back offices in Romania and Albania. We have over 17 years of experience with architecting server-side solutions in VoIP environment. We have platform implementations covering both wholesale as well as retail, and we are very serious about system outages. Now, quickly, a bit about CGRateS, since I know it's a Janus conference and you don't know much about CGRateS just yet, and I'm sure you would like to find out about it. It's an enterprise billing suite, so it's not just a simple billing system. It has all other goodies which you can use around. It's pluggable, so this is actually what I will demo you today. So you take a software, you decide that you want to do billing for it, and you start integrating. That should be it. It's also able to accommodate new components into ISP, ITSP side, because they are mostly the ones which are charging us. And it should be non-intrusive into existing setups. By non-intrusive, I mean you don't have to route your traffic through a specific server. The demo which I'm doing, it shows an intrusive into a less intrusive way. So open source software, everything what we do is open source. We are truly believer of open source. We were born in 2010. First source is published in 2012. Our full sources are on GitHub. No additional ads in private repositories. No tricks played. We have currently more than 425,000 lines of code, which is written in Go. So looking back in 2010, we were one of the first projects taking Go seriously. They were weekly released by then. We have 3 branches, which we support indefinitely. You know, telecom, they are pretty conservative with upgrades. And we have one branch which we call stable, where no fixes or no features will get in. Of course, fixes always. Then we have the master, where you can already find the new JanusAgent, and 1.0, which is actually our vision of future. Performance-oriented software, we have for that a pretty advanced caching system, which works as a database as well. And everything we do, it's asynchronous, you know, Golang and microthreads. This is very good for networking, and it's what we do. And we include by default an API load balancer, so you can scale even higher if you need to. Modular architecture, cloud ready, you do microservices, rich set of RPC APIs, easy to enhance by rewriting specific components. If you are unhappy with our license, which is GPL, you can simply replace the component which you want to enhance, and then you get your own IPR on it. Test-driven development, we have over 10,000 different tests on our platform. So as I told you, we take system outages pretty serious. In terms of features, we are what people are calling online or offline charging system, multi-tenant from day one, multiple databases supported, real-time configuration reloads, rating engine with derived charging and a number rating, account balances management. So for those doing bundles with data and voice bundles or whatever other bundles you might. I heard about WhatsApp bundles, Facebook bundles, whatever, and also some dynamic prepaid where we create the accounts on the fly. For example, test accounts. Session or event charging with balance reservation and refunds. Uh, all these are famous in or popular in mobile world. Stir shaken, it was like a nice to have, although it doesn't really belong into a billing system, but we have an API like everything. Then CDR logging for storing your CDRs, and high number of interfaces for importing and exporting events. Fraud detection, again, LCR in telecom, call statistics, dynamic pricing, imports, and so on. I will not have you bored with all these details. It will be staying in the video for later. So this is an internal architecture of the software. You can see on the left side here all the interfaces towards outside world. On top there, the two diameter and radius, which radius, for example, still it's being used for Wi-Fi authorization. Diameter is popular in IMS world or 4G. Now with the 5G, it's half-half because they start recommending HTTP2 instead of diameter. HTTP agent, which is a standalone agent which you can use to convert information. DNS agent, we are using it for enum routing, for example. SIP agent, standalone SIP agent for SIP redirects. Asterisk free switch, if you know a bit of telecom. Kamailio. We have also OpenSIPs modules built in OpenSIPs. Event reader service, which is able to take more information, for example, out of log files, CDRs, which you receive from your suppliers, and so on. In the middle, actually, looking at these agents, you will see that this is the place where also the new Janus agent will come in. So you can consider it very similar to HTTP agent because it speaks HTTP outside, but it's a standalone, so it's not integrated within HTTP agent. But this is where it will be positioned. I have to redo the diagram after this talk. Sessions will, so after the events will come from the Janus, will go into our sessions and then will be aggregated, and out of events we will start having sessions, and there is where our reservation occurs and where our refunds happen. Then we have RALs for rating and charging these bundles, then CDR server attributes, which is a pretty cool internal database, which we have. Why we have it separate than others is because it works with our own filters and logic. So you can alter your events by using this attributes module. I'll show you because in my demo I have attributes as well. Chargers to get out of one, let's say, physical session, multiple logical ones or virtual ones. For example, if you want to charge your customer as well as see how much you will be charged by your supplier, it's a good way of doing it in parallel, so you get in real time also your revenue, for example, or your profits. Then resources for keeping track of virtual channels or simultaneous channels used. Then stats and routes for LCR and thresholds for fraud detection and automatic mitigation. So you have quite some batteries inside this system. I told you it's quite big and quite mature by now. On the right side, we will have some dispatcher if we want to increase the processing power, and some scheduler for automatic creation of the accounts, or doing the subscriptions, like charging monthly for subscriptions. Event exporter service to send the events out, API for having some administrative APIs, and loaders to load the prices inside, like CSV files or other sources of files. We support two different databases. One is DataDB for, which usually is a NoSQL database for performance, like holding the operational data we need, and one which we call StoreDB, which we need it to be more reliable, even if it grows and it's slower. For example, to store the CDRs, the call detailed records there. And on top of the databases is always the cache. So regarding Janus integration, so the boring part it's gone now. We use it as an HTTP REST server. We were advised to do that. To be honest, we are not very experts into Janus. We asked the real experts here. And then for that, we forked the library. They call it Janus Go, but I think not really maintained since more than 10 years. And we brought it up to date. You can start using yourself if you want. We put some efforts into bringing it up and talking to existing Janus server now. It's MIT also. This library will talk to Janus via WebSockets. So it will take our requests and send it to Janus server. On the other side, we have HTTP to the browser side. So we will be in the middle, and the browser will send us, I think it's Janus.js library, which sends us the request from the browser. And we will take this request, we'll analyze, we'll take the useful information out of it, we'll send it to CGRateS, we'll confirm the authorization, whether the user is allowed to make sessions or not, and we'll also create CDRs at the end. It's planned as bidirectional communication. So in the moment the account runs out of session, out of credit, the sessions will cut its session. So so the sessions module inside CGRateS will cut its session inside Janus. You can configure, because I keep talking about an account, but there is no account in Janus, right? So this is something which we enhanced as well. You can either send an account from your browser, so you can gather this information, you can decide yourself what the account is, or what I did in my demo, I have used the source IP address of the browser as my account. So let's say someone will send you traffic which you have to bill for via IP address, you can identify that as an account in CGRateS. It uses flexible events, so we will take anything you want to send from the browser and put it in a session inside CGRateS, so you can add more information. It also uses request processors, so you also define what an event means and how you want to convert it on the CGRateS side. If you want your session initiate to be already creating CDRs, this will be possible because this request processors gives you this power to decide what you want to do with the event. We also create a virtual state machine for your sessions, because by default, what we are sniffing, it has no notion of a mature session, because it can start video, stop video. So all these are states and not really something to bill, like to decide when we will start and when we will stop billing. So we help there as well. I will show you there how we do it also. And then it should have performance because it's all asynchronous again, and it has support to store in the CDRs additional data. I think I already told you that, and events data enhancement via our attributes. So we can capture the events coming from Janus, and maybe if you want to add PayPal account or something you want to use to also bill in real time, you could do that as well. This is an example how we have done currently the states. So for example, for authorization, we use the Janus create event coming from the library. And looking into that, we will be using the source IP and convert it, you can see it here, into the account. So, and then we will be using the plugin, the destination of your request. We will be using it as the destination. Later, we can change that as well. This is just some idea we had regarding how to develop such thing. We decided that at least now a session is up when we get the Janus WebRTC app back event. So this is not anymore from the browser, but coming from the Janus server. So we are monitoring the stream back from Janus to the browser, and we will create a session initiate. So we start real billing by the time WebRTC is up. So we avoid all the negotiation and only charge theoretically the user for what he's using. You can see here that we are also calling some modules on the CGRateS side. For example, to involve attributes if we want to enhance, and then to initiate a session within sessions, and also force duration, termination, and all this stuff which we want to add. Then you can see that we enhance it with an answer time. So by the time this WebRTC app it's coming, we will take this and seal the time as answer time. Destination stays the same as echo test, and we also save the origin host. So the origin host normally is the address of the CGRateS instance where the Janus agent is running, because Janus agent can run remotely from the CGRateS infrastructure. So if you have a Janus server, Janus agent is recommended that it runs in your network. And if you want to have CGRateS in another data center, that's totally possible, because the events will be sent via RPC on our side. And then we will know based on the origin host from which agent the request is coming. Then we will have, based on the destroy, based on Janus destroy request coming from the browser, we will have, we'll convert that and create the terminate session. And again, this answer time will be already stored in the session. What we did, we enhanced the library of Janus Go with ability to have a container of additional information. So we will be storing information in the sessions, which we can then retrieve when we close or when we destroy the session. So you see here, it's the duration in nanoseconds, because Go is capable of nanoseconds, so we don't want to lose that. We can still round on billing side if we want to charge per second, but if someone wants to go deeper for some needs, because I don't know, CPU is expensive or whatever, you can go up to charging per nanoseconds, because the timestamp allows us. And out of same destroy request, we will also create the process CDR. Then why did we do it? What's the applicability? Well, for the moment, we are still investigating this, but we like the idea of WebRTC going forward and replacing the old communication channels like telephony. And if there are business rules requiring it, well, there must be a tool for it. So this is why we have created. Some domains of applicability would be to bill per sessions, like the classical telecommunication, or some other means of other sessions, whoever whoever sells actually web sessions or cams or whatever. I was keep trying to avoid this term of webcams, but it comes with the billing, I don't know. You can also charge per port, so you can per simultaneous streams, maybe it's another idea, or count the number of sessions. So per each session initiated through your system, you can charge. So not the session duration, but just the simple session count, or create some sort of subscription. So if you are selling your WebRTC servers, but just want to pay subscriptions for an account, so not really monitoring the sessions, you can do that as well. Another option would be fraud mitigation. So if you are acting in some place where you have charging, you already do that in some other way, but you want to still make sure that you are not being, nobody is committing fraud on you. You can do parallel billing to what you have already today. And then you do this based on cost. You can do fraud mitigation based on duration. So we can also monitor the total duration of the sessions in the CDRs, or simultaneous use. And this simultaneous use, it can be virtual. So it can be depending on the destination of your browser call. Then you can also do statistics like average sessions count, or average session cost, or total session counts for last 1 hour or whatever. Then resources and limit virtual ports, for example, or enhance your Janus session information with information out of CGRateS, like I told you, add PayPal account or something which you need to be stored in your CDRs. So let's see what I did yesterday and today. So it's a really good motivation, such a conference. Okay, so I will use for my demo the famous echo test, which you have developed. So you see that I'm not playing any tricks. And I will, let me see. Okay. So on one side, I will open the web server. So I just for serving the web page, the web page of the EcoTest application. Then I will start, you see, I start fresh the Janus server. So it stays there in the background. Then I will start fresh. You see my CGRateS with specific Janus configuration. And this is the code which is already public on our GitHub. So you can already use it as, it's still proof of concept on EcoTest. I don't know how it works on other applications, but we are very happy to help you. So we have a Google channel which you can subscribe, and we are very keen in seeing this in production. And first, if my test is running, my call should fail, if this can happen. So you see, I'm trying to start my session, and it says again the error is not properly interpreted. But what it did, it secured the session. So because I didn't create any account for my session, the CGRateS rejected the session. So I already protected even with no username or password, but on the billing side, I'm protecting the sessions and nobody can call through. You can see that there was an attempt that the session should be created, and then the CGRateS tried to authorize it, and we got not found for data, and then we sent back internal server error. So now what we do is we reset now the trace, and we will load the data. I have prepared some data here, and I loaded with one command out of CSV files. And now, if all good, I should be able to see how nice I am. I like this. I do this all the time, so it's kind of cool. Then I stop the session, and now we should have a billing for it. So to see if I have a billing, I'll query the CDRs. By the way, everything what we do is in memory, so we have no database. CGRateS has its internal in-memory database, so if you want to play with Docker containers or something which is totally stateless, you just start it like this, and after you shut it down, everything is clean again. So this is what I'm doing actually. And then by typing CDRs, I can see that I have a CDR, and it's, you see, it's 1417 because it's in UTC, or I have some bad timing on my laptop. If I check it, I should be seeing 1418. Yeah, so it's my laptop. It has wrong timing, and so it's kind of real for my laptop. And I can see here that I have a usage. So you see, you have to believe me, this means 7 seconds. So 7 seconds plus some milliseconds in nanoseconds. And you can see that I have a rounded usage because CGRateS interpreted this as a call, and I can do like first minute, I round it as a whole, and then I can charge per second or whatever. So this is what it happened, and I have also a cost for it. So it's all how it should be. If I do another just 1 second, you will see a second CDR, and this will be like less, so 2 seconds. Like I could not cut it to 1 second. So it's real, and it's monitoring properly the events and stuff. So I try my best to not to keep too much. So that should be it from my side. Thank you. I don't know if I have one question or maybe later outside.
Thank you very much. It was really a really cool demo, really great work. I want to talk more about it later on. So do you have any questions for Dan? Any questions? Then I may just have an observation that may be useful for the development, especially since you mentioned that there is no concept of account, which is true, but there are a couple of attributes that you can use for the purpose. I think one is opaque ID and the other is token. Opaque ID is mostly used for correlation. For instance, when we push events to Homer, for instance, that allows you to correlate the different sessions to each other, but you can use it for anything. That's why it's called opaque ID. Okay. And token is mostly used for authorization, for the authorization mechanism that we have. And so that could also tie back to what you have here. So even if you're not using the Janus authentication, you can put an account information that makes sense to the service that you are providing this for in the token object, and that token can be associated to, for instance, an account that you have, and that gives you more flexibility than using, for instance, the IP address or something else. So that could be a useful. I think it may be. I mean, that's why I said we may talk about this later.
Yeah, I was imagining that someone will create like an authorization, or it will send from the browser this information because they know their own business logic. So they will normally send in the events more information than just what Janus.js sends right now. So it can add there more an account which they know what the account means.
Yeah, that's where opaque IDN can help, because those are information that may be associated to a different context. And you just put an identifier in the Janus API call, so that directly within the Janus API call that you already have access to, you have access to this piece of information that allows you to pull other information from somewhere else and get the right context, for instance, for the account.
Good. So we can even use the token and translate it ourselves to an account if
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
stable, if it's the same.
Yeah, that's the idea. So that
Oh,
would be
perfect.
useful. Okay, and no more questions for Dan?
I did a good job.
No, great
I
job. Great
cleared
job.
all the
Thank you.
questions from the presentation. Thank you very much.